All right, so we're doing a 3-year Jonny Boats Bass 100 review. I did a first impressions of my Jonny Boats Bass 100 January 8th. So this is 3 years in 1 day, so almost exactly 3 years. Really like it. And then I did a 6-month, I think it was 6-month review video. Talked about how I really like it. It's been 3 years now. A lot has happened since then. It is far from brand new at this point. It's still usable, and but there's a number of things that I want to talk about. So at first I babied this for a long time, and then I started not babying it, and the second I started not babying it, it showed why it's not one of these $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 kayaks. I did add this tripod. Wow. I did add this trolling motor through my pod to make this kind of like an old town in a way, and it actually works really well. I should make a video about that as well. So subscribe if you're not, and you'll see that video as well. And so I want to talk about a few things. So you can see I got some duct tape there. I'm taking this out right now, and I'm gonna clean it up. But first I wanted to show you I have not been treating this well. We got grass in here. My seat, this seat is still going strong. I've heard of some people have made some tears in it and this and that. I mean, you can see I throw things on it and stuff. I don't treat it great. I'm 260 pounds right now, but when I was using this pretty regularly, I was 250 pounds. So I'm on the bigger side, and that's a good chair. It holds up well. I've kept it outside for a year or so, so it is worn. We're in Florida. The sun will beat things up down here, so that is worn from the sun. The handles are worn from the sun, so we have some worn damage here and there, but the kayak itself isn't worn from the sun. Just like the handles, accessories. The Bass 100 sign right here, it's a little worn from the sun. I will say that this crack happened from, I just stood up one day while I was fishing. For a while I liked sitting in this kayak and fishing. That's why I never really got into kayaks. I'm like, I love standing while I'm fishing and blah blah, but it's not the most stable kayak. You can definitely stand and fish out of it, and I do, and I did quite often. But when I first got it, I was always sitting in it and fishing and stuff. And then you find yourself in situations where you need to pitch over here, do this, do that. You need to be standing, you're sight fishing, and so then I'm standing all the time. And I went on a bunch of trips standing, never a problem. One day, beginning of my trip, I stood up and just a crack formed right there, and I started to weld it. I felt like I wasn't doing a very good job welding it, and I wanted to go out the next day, like I had plans to go somewhere, so I just covered up in tape. I noticed someone said that you can do that as a temporary solution, and so I did that, and I end up just always doing that. And so yeah, so that is temporary. I got to finish the weld on that, or redo it, something. I got to look at it and see exactly what I'm looking at. But I will say it does get a small leak. So at the end of a day, I will have to drain out the back. There's a little nozzle back there. I will have to drain it out. Not a lot gets in here, and I don't think it's from the weld, but once you take these little things off, these little cushions right here, these little circle cushions, to get to those screws and unscrew that to access like a crack situation, they don't really go back. Maybe you can use some adhesive or something if you plan on never accessing it again, but they end up falling off. The foam gets ripped off of there, this, that, and the other. And so I think some water might be getting in the screws itself, because I'll get water in here while I'm fishing, and over time it drains out. I usually, I got the trolling motor with me. I'm a bigger guy. I bring my lithium battery. I bring, you know, a bunch of baits, bunch of poles, net, you know, I bring stuff with me. So I got this maxed out in weight. And so, you know, I'll get a little bit of water in there, and it just take a little bit of time to drain out the back. There's a little thing underneath the seat where it drains out. And I do have, you know, water's getting in somewhere. And the other possibility is, like, you can kind of see that line across there. It's like two halves, you know, plastic welded together, or roto welded, or whatever the heck they call it. And I might have maybe a minor crack somewhere. It's not a lot of water, but after every trip, I do have to just drain it out. Or what I like to do before I fish on a trip, I like to tip it, get everything out, just in case, you know, it rains and stuff gets in. Now, if it rains, you know, I can definitely get water in, because water can get in behind these, I believe. One of the other possibilities that the water is getting in is there's like these little pads under the back, and maybe from dragging this with all the weight in it up on the bank here and there when I'm getting out of the water, the stress maybe just created a little crack, a micro crack or something. There is a crack somewhere on this. I just don't know where. It doesn't seem to affect my fishing, but obviously I want to tell you everything that's going on with this. I am definitely going to clean this up, and it will be in much better shape. So quite a few things that I've said negative about this so far, I feel like. But at the price point, there's only a couple kayaks that can even compare to this kayak. And it's just, I feel like at the price point, it's hard to beat. You got a flat back transom if you don't want to go through the trouble of making something like this, which is really helpful, I feel like. Plus, I mean, if I put an outboard motor on that, I could have this and an outboard motor on. I'd really be moving then. I might be a little too heavy for that though. But yeah, so it holds up. Heavier guys. It's not the end of the world if you get a little crack from standing on it, but it did happen. I feel like that's kind of normal though, because when I made a little short video way back when, you know, I got a lot of people messaging me and talking to me and stuff like that, and they recommended someone's video for fixing it and this and that, and so that was cool. But you know, it just seems like, oh, this isn't like it only happened to me situation. That does happen. So because this isn't, you know, a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 kayak, you know, after 3 years, you know, something like that might happen. It might happen to you sooner, who knows. The only other thing I would say is just the plastic. I've scraped up the plastic quite a bit. I've seen people heat up spoons and stuff like that and fix it, but there's little scrapes here and there. My little things right here are sun UV rayed, faded as well. But it says max 400 pounds, person 250, whatever capacities. Yeah, I mean, everything on it right now, it definitely needs a cleaning. You can see I spray painted some of my accessories on here that I had hanging on here, and you know, I was lazy about it. At the point in time, I'm like, this kayak has, like, you know, a little spray paint I don't care about on it. You know, this thing has, you know, done its job for years. It can look a little ugly, I don't care. But it's at the point where there's a few things I need to actually fix on it, like the weld, and try and find this crack, because if I find the crack, if I find the culprit, I can maybe do something about that. I don't know where water's getting in though, and it wasn't like that before. It was only like that once this happened. So it makes me think it's just the pad area. It's like And I think, it's not a lot of water getting in it, but it's enough that I think it can't be from the pad, but it might be. It might be. I fish, when I go fishing, I fish all day. So maybe I'm not realizing how much water is really at my feet, for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. Sometimes I'll be out there longer, to be honest. I'll fish all day, and I got, 100 amp hour lithium battery, and, I'll go and fish a spot. I'll travel to a spot and fish there for hours, and then go to another spot hours, so I'm not like running the motor all day. So the motor and battery's fine. And so it might be just that, in which case I don't know if getting another one will solve that or not. Or maybe I just need to caulk this. If I caulk it, I maybe I need to do like some cling wrap in there and caulk fill it or something, so that it can be removed. I don't know. I gotta think about that one. But overall, I'd say at the price point, it is still, I would say, a good kayak. You don't want anything wrong with, when you're spending this much money, though, you don't want anything to be wrong with it after a year, 2 years, and even 3 years. But I think we're just dreaming. Things are going to be wrong with the kayak after 3 years when it's not one of these $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 kayaks. I'm not sure if the price point has changed. I think it used to be like $1,100. Was it $1,100 when I bought it? I don't know, because when I bought it, I bought other things as well. So my bank account was hit a little more than $1,100. But it's still in good shape, considering. It doesn't look like it, but like it functions, it works. Kayaks are just good. Kayaks are just expensive, because like there's kayaks that I feel like are much better than this, up at the like near $2,000 price point, $1,700, $1,800, near $2,000, that are much better than this. And you go, oh, if I just spend $700 more, but that's almost twice the price. So maybe, for you might want to spend more money, get a better kayak that's going to last longer. But I will say, if you can't afford to do that and you're at this price point, I do think it is a good kayak. And a lot of like just how things look, that's because I'm keeping it out in the sun in the Florida weather. But if you don't weigh as much as me, probably not gonna have that crack. And then you wouldn't have the water leak in there as well. But I've maximized the use out of this. I've turned it essentially into a poor man's old town autopilot, so it's nice. It's nice. I don't know what else I can really say. I've definitely added some accessories and stuff, and I felt like this transom, the plastic gets scraped up pretty good. And when I did have the trolling motor on the back of there, sometimes I'd have to retighten it while I'm fishing because it would slip off. So I added this on. It has a little lip at the top, so even if it starts to slip, my trolling motor is not going to fall off into the water. It's going to hit that. I'm going to hear it ding, 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 dinging back there, and I'll turn around and go, oh, okay. And I'd have to tighten it. And on top of that, that plastic over top of that protects that plastic area, because you do want to protect the plastic, because you get a hole in your hull, then you gotta deal with it. So there is a small leak. I think it's related to this. And then I do have a small crack, do have some weather damage. Other than that, though, little scrapes and stuff, the plastic, get little chunks of the plastic right there if something bangs into it. But those things can be smoothed out with just like a heated spoon. So I would say at the price point, it's not bad. If you can afford to buy a better kayak, you might want to buy a better kayak. These used, though, I see them for $700. I mean, or even sometimes even a little less than $700. Now I got the motor and pod situation. I wouldn't sell mine for 700, no way. But if it's in good condition, I don't know how you can beat that. So that's my 3-year review. I thought I'd let y'all know. I actually thought it'd be better to show y'all some of the things going on with it before I clean it up and get it back out there during the Florida spawn. But yeah. So I thought I'd show it at its worst. Definitely not at its best currently, but it is what it is, and I'm about to get a trailer, because I've turned my trailer into an enclosed trailer. I'm about to get another trailer to throw this on, and that same trailer I'm gonna do yard work and get some of the stuff out. I tore my shed down and stuff. I got stuff in the yard I gotta take to the dump, but I need another trailer to do that, a utility trailer. So I'm gonna turn that into a kayak trailer. So I got quite a few things going on. I might make a video about this. I might make a video about turning my utility trailer into a kayak trailer / utility trailer. And so if you're interested in any of that stuff, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, of course, and that's gonna be it. This is a 3-year Jonny Boats Past 100 review. I'm out. Peace.